Hello YouTube, it's JMac with, finally, our New Year's update. This is January 2017 update, and this is the biggest update this channel has ever had. In Old Town, no changes have really been made. Very few. However, there have been lots of changes made in the rest of the city. To start, we'll talk about where the service station used to be. It is no longer there. In fact, it is now a parking area for the construction crew, which is nice to have. The most obvious change is the addition of the brick bank modular, and it, I must say, looks wonderful there. And you can obviously see the construction site for the Assembly Square modular. Very excited about that. Over here we have a new 4-story red apartment complex that's a mock video. And next to it, I changed up the dentist building, because I was kind of bored of it, and I didn't like it being next to a red building, and I needed its parts, so I have redesigned it in a different color. It will be the dentist office. Another change involves the tram. You can see here the tram stops have been completely redone across the entire city. This one here has all the yellow lines and everything. They're all appropriately colored instead of being green or white or red or whatever they used to be. They're not made of plain wings, they're made of genuine plates that are designed for this. And the ones on the curbs look more flawless. Also, we have the completed fire station. It is finally done. It had to be enlarged to fit all the beds that I wanted inside of it, but once I was able to do that, I fit just enough beds for every member of the department. There's still a little work to be done, like with kitchens and stuff, but for the most part, it is much better. Another obvious change, in order to fit the Assembly Square, we have the People Center building has been scrunched. It is now 3 floors, which makes it match the height of its neighbors much better, which makes it look good. I still liked the old version better, on a 32x32, but this was necessary to fit the square and to make the heights match. Another thing is that the Blue Gem Auditorium is no longer in this area, again, in order to fit the Assembly Square. It has moved back into the back next to Chicken Square. Moving on to another change. Yet another obvious change. The train station is complete. New Hensome SDS Central Train Station is fully finished, and it looks quite great. Across the road from the station, you can see the HRS Hensome Rail System Company office building. Yet another thing that's been changed in this area is in the back next to the pizzeria with the toy store, which has been expanded on the ground floor, taking up the space of the old restaurant, which was old, shabby, and wasn't really doing its job. It was useless, had no business, so I expanded the toy store because it was way too small. If you see carefully, the post office has been shrunk as well. A lot of changes have been made this month. Well, a lot of months. Back here in the modern area and residential area, even more changes have been made. Over here you can see the car dealership has a new floor for company offices and whatnot. The arrangements of these buildings has been changed a little bit in order to do a little bit of stuff here. The blue building is now a hardware store, which is completed. The news building has in fact been destroyed, and I rebuilt it into just a little van. I'll make a mock video on that one. Another big change is with the residential area. There is a road plate here finally with the crossing, so the crossing is now complete. Over there is my modified version of the Changing Seasons set, which is now in the city and is looking good. Over here, we have the pencil pot, which is also new. This yellow house has also been expanded a little bit in order to, make room. I had to rearrange these houses for various purposes. I also had to take out some of these tiles that used to be in place for more road, because I need them for railroad crossings. But the pencil pot roof that I have to build up is not quite done, but I will get to that shortly. Either way, I love the new residential area design. This tram stop is also renovated. Down at the port, the Coast Guard building has been chopped in half due to the fact that the extra space was no longer really needed. Let's go and get another look at the train station. Down here is another way to see the train station, which I must say looks amazing. There will, of course, be a mock video on the train station. I am still working on the new train station in this area for the tram. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work out. I need to add a couple flexies. We'll see how that works. As you can see, I added a few plates and tiles down in the market because it was a little bit too small, and the advent calendar, which I have this year, added a lot of new stuff to it, as it always does, and I needed a little bit of room for it. So I just added some plates down, some tiles, expanded it out a bit closer to the road so the people had more space to play around. And the Grand Skyscraper has all its windows put in, all of them with glass panes. This was done by changing up some pieces, destroying the news building, and a few other things that I did. Moving on, behind the building, we have Corporate Plaza, which has a mock video. The police station is unchanged since it was last seen in a mock video. The glass factory has been moved closer to the police station by 16 studs because of the train track modifications, which I'll talk about in a moment. That unfortunately requires me to scrunch up some space here, so I'm still planning exactly how I want to do that. As the mock video for Chicken Square that I recently made shows, the middle building of Chicken Square has been modified because it needed to become a cathedral for lack of another purpose, so I had to expand it a little bit. Right next to Chicken Square, we have this construction site for the middle high school. They will be a combined structure, kind of. That is why that there's this space here on each floor, because that will be a little doorway between the two. This building that you currently see under construction was going to be the high school, but I've now changed my mind, and it will be the middle school, and the high school is yet to be built. You can see we have a crane working on that. There's a little bit of mess behind it because I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to use those orange parts on the high school or not. I'm thinking about it, but I'm not sure if I have enough. When I talked earlier about the gas station that I destroyed it, I did put a little outlet of octane right over here, so you can still get gas in the city. It's just very, very small. Another change is very, very obvious, the new trains. I always had a dream of having 2 train lines around the city, one for freight, one for passenger. But unfortunately that doesn't work very well, because the city is not really designed for it. It was very hard, and the freight line looked kind of ugly. So in order to prevent ugly track from being in place, I decided to shrink it to just 1 track line, but the track line goes around the whole city more. So this has created an interesting conundrum in the new area, Nuvu, with railroad crossings. It was very complicated to get it all to fit, because there's only one way of doing it, to get the train crossings all in place without stealing space from the glass factory or the Horizon Express hitting the wall. To finish, there's a couple of new trains in the city, including this holiday train, which has its own video. Also, down there, you can see from 2010 the old passenger train. I do have this set, but I destroyed it forever ago. But I broke out the instructions and rebuilt some of it, so there's a hint at it. I'm not quite done with it yet. Soon, I will release a video showing some unique views and pictures of the city, so you can see anything that I didn't cover. That's it for now. See you in the next update.